Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Disco Elysium. In the last episode, we finally got Titus to open up, and he told us the truth of what happened, which is that the man who was hanged was dead before he was hanged, which actually makes a fair amount of sense. But he was up here with Klaasje, and she came down and he had been shot through the window. Or what they assume shot, he was killed somehow, they couldn't actually tell from the wound. But the window was smashed out and he was dead. So, we're going to actually talk to Klaasje about this, shall we?
It's always good to see you.
Something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, consigned to her fate, to being here with you and what's to come.
The Hardy Boys told us what really happened.
I understand.
You don't look surprised. You were expecting this?
I knew there was a chance you'd get them to tell you. It's what you do. You're the police. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for wasting your time.
This is good. Clear the air first, between you two. Then move on to questions.
Rhetoric is useful. I'm glad I leveled it up.
Is it? Something is off here. Shush. I can't hear what she's saying.
Interesting.
If you knew we would find out eventually, why did you waste our time?
Because of the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me. Out of the shit I'd gotten into.
But if that were true, why not corroborate the story?
You're right. There's more.
More.
You answer to the coalition government, and by extension, the moral intern.
Briefly glancing over her shoulder to the sea, as she's done time and time again. A grand expanse of water reaches over the bay and to the horizon, grey and pale violet in the morning light.
What lies beyond it?
The pale, the Muindi.
I'm scared she's going to jump off the roof, to be honest.
The Occident, and then Oranje, the old world.
The RCM isn't the lapdog of the moral intern, you don't have to worry.
You share a database with them. You send people to their courts.
What did you do?
Just business. But bad business for some people in the moral intern. If I show up in your records, officer, they will find me. They will...
What happens if they do?
They will kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning, enter me into the moral intern mill, well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. This murder didn't have anything to do with me.
Actually, this murder did have a little to do with her.
Why do they call the cops if you're hiding?
Because I'm an idiot.
Which is an indicator of truth. Idiot. She's nothing of the sort.
So you would have us believe, but you're not.
You have to understand, the people around here, no one was making the call, and he kept rotting. And then they picked his clothes off, and that little fucker threw stones at him. He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud. Thud. So I called you. I hope with all my heart it's not the last thing I do in Ravishol.
She definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not have been a lie. That is impossible.
What did you do to have these people after you?
It's not nice, but it's not illegal. Not here in Ravishol. Or even in Oranje.
What exactly did you do?
Industrial espionage. I joined a business collective with the intention of betraying them. I did my job well enough to be asked to do it again. With a bigger company. The kind you really don't fuck with. I took their ledgers. 2 decades worth of accounting.
I need the names of the companies involved and who hired you.
The job was Luz doing County Savings Bank. They sound small, but they're part of the Elysium conglomerate. That was the second job. The first was some printer company. You wouldn't know them. As to who hired me for the job, I don't know. But they're after me too, along with Elysium and their friends in the MI. Once you're done in the competitive intelligence circuit, you don't have allies.
Mm-hmm.
You're radioactive.
Well, I mean, it's catch-22, right? You hire someone for corporate espionage. If they're just, like, a contractor, there's nothing to say that they won't do the same thing to you. Hell, they might be doing the same thing to you when you hire them in the first place.
Lowe's Cap. These people engineer financial disasters in second world countries. The conglomerate also includes the Bank of Consecration, Airberg, and the popular Papalolo line of dairy products.
I'm pretty sure people have done much worse than that.
Sure. I'm not a war criminal, but it was bad. People lost their jobs. Good people, too, not just C-suite. A lot of people got hurt. But that's just more of my shit you shouldn't have to deal with. You're solving a murder.
What happened here the night he died?
We were there. Together. In bed, I mean.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Okay. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back, looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. There was a hole in the glass. I turned back to him. His eyes were looking through me, and his mouth was open. Dumb.
Jesus.
I could see. I could...
Her chest rises and falls with each word. She keeps herself together and says it.
I knew he was dead. Before he fell down on top of me.
You don't have to continue if you don't want to. I get the gist.
No, I want to. Let's get this done.
It's okay. Tell us as much as you're comfortable with.
He was heavy. I pushed him off and he fell to the floor. There. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream, then ran downstairs. I waited for the second shot to come. For me. I thought there would be one. It never came.
She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry it's happened.
So am I.
She throws it away and immediately proceeds to light another one.
What time was this? When did it happen? It would help us if you could be as precise as possible.
11:30 to 12:15. I don't know the exact time. Around midnight.
It's okay. Were you inebriated?
Not as much as usual. He'd done a line, plus other things. I was drinking.
Wait. Titus said she was gurning her jaw off, much more than usual.
Titus said you looked pretty high.
Oh, yeah. I did one of his lines, just to clear my head.
Did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this?
No,
What did you do then?
nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. I got some clothes on and crawled back up, drew the blinds. Blood was coming from his mouth. Not a lot, just a little. He was still on the floor, slouched. I couldn't be there with him anymore, so I ran down and out of my room, into the hallway, down the stairs. I knew there would be people there.
When it happened, did you hear a gunshot?
When he was shot? I may have. I don't know. I couldn't hear anything over the glass exploding.
The gunshot wasn't that loud. This is something to keep in mind when assessing the distance of
Yeah,
the
it could
shot.
have been someone from way, way, way. If they were here, you would have heard the gunshot. The gunshot would have been preferential to your hearing over the glass shattering. Glass shattering would have been quiet in comparison. What happened after you ran downstairs?
Sylvie was tending the bar. A lot of people were there. The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. I think the Union box was full. Ruby was there too. They were having such a good time. I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything. Ruby knew something was wrong.
So did Titus.
Ruby?
Ruby. You know, the leader.
The leader? Of what?
The Hardy Boys.
Thought Hardy was the leader of the Hardy Boys.
Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, like things they need taken care of. She's the organizer.
The fixer.
Would you say she is the 8th Hardy Boy?
Why not?
What then?
Well, Ruby said let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December. They know my situation, that I can't leave a paper trail. Ruby was the first one I told. She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know, take care of things. I helped her get the body to the bathroom. We used a belt to pull him up under the shower, to keep him upright.
To mislead you, they were tampering with the body.
To produce lividity, matching a hanging?
Yes.
This is concurrent with your doubts at the autopsy about the colouring being.
I knew it. The colouring in his lower limbs looked faint.
About half an hour had passed since the moment of death.
She nods.
You were late. The marks would be faint by that time.
He makes a small pointing motion with his pen. It's meant for you. Then what did you do?
Ruby went outside to talk to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. I had to put his clothes back on. His armor, too. It was tough, but I've seen him take it off and put it on many times. It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then. They carried him out. I knew what they were going to do. Make it look like a hanging.
What did
Ruby
you do?
said they would.
What did you do while they were hanging?
Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while. That we should lay low or something. So I did.
Where's Ruby now?
I don't know. I haven't seen her since.
We will need to take this question to the Hardy Boys.
Interesting. Why did this Ruby go through so much trouble to hide something someone else did?
Exactly.
Look into this later.
I mean, feasibly, right? It could just be to protect her, because if she gets implicated in the murder, then she gets into the database, they find her, they kill her. But why not just chop him up and throw him into the canal? Like, no, she only called him because she couldn't stand the sight of him being hanged there, right? Like, no one would have even called the police if they just chopped him up and threw him away. I mean, there's also the fact that he was working for the company and these guys are working for the union, so having him hanged is a sign of power, I suppose, but I don't know. When was the window changed?
Last week. Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called Tibbs, took care of it.
You should have another look at that window after this. Reconstruct the scene. It's right there.
In her bedroom, inside?
Yes, you see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your eye.
Could the people after you have killed him?
That's the first thing that went through my head when I heard the glass break.
And?
I thought they'd found me. They've killed him to punish me. All last week, I've tried not to talk to anyone or be seen with anyone so they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. What happened didn't have anything to do with me.
It probably didn't.
Or, I don't know anything anymore. All I do is wait here.
We can't go after loose cap. Not yet. There are other, saner leads.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. If there's one thing I know, it's that you'll get nothing from there.
If they want to kill me, they'll kill me. If they want to toy with me, they will. She's come to this conclusion weeks ago.
I think we're done here for now.
She nods, silently. She doesn't even smoke. Just picks up the cold coffee and holds it in her hands. He's thinking, are we done here? But we are awake, sire. She has been forthcoming with sordid details women usually conceal. Most shocking details of the sexual kind. If you have doubts, just give us one example of deceit. Just one, and we will gladly change our minds.
The lurid explicitness conceals something less sensational but more illegal.
Who is this personhood picking these seditious options? Can't you see the detective grows weary of your malcontent? Stop staring at her eyes and say something pertinent to the case. It looks like this one's not waking up. You'll have to do it without pushing her further. At least for now.
Let's go in here and check this window again, because my visual calculus is going, I can figure things out now that I know what was broken and replaced.
This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo.
What happened here?
A vague sense of disappointment fills you. The glass shimmers as if taunting you with its secrets. The window stands mute in the frame. The wind picks up outside.
I failed that 97% check. I guess I can level calculus up one more time, which I'm going to do. I'm now out of points because I put everything into rhetoric, although I do like having rhetoric this high. Because rhetoric combined with perception and visual calculus seems really good. Just because my visual calculus can see things and how things are put together really well. My perception allows me to see it to make use of it. And then my rhetoric allows me to actually like talk to people like a normal human being, which is helpful, amazingly.
This window is pristine on the inside. Unlike the golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on the single bed. Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th and a shot has just been fired. The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth, a ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain.
Where does it come from?
From the roof outside, location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole. Shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back.
Expect the ghostly figures.
The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization.
Makes sense. Point A prime, the roof.
The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points.
Shouldn't there be gun residue outside?
There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. This was more than a week ago.
80% sure the roof is where the shot came from?
72%, with a weapon that's good for medium range, like a rifle or sports pistol. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The perpetrator aimed with their back against the railing, or possibly kneeling for precision. This would explain why it only took them one shot. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium, a well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside in the darkness, too busy with their own bodies.
Are there any arguments against A prime on the roof?
None that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean there aren't any.
Could the shot have come from inside the room, a closer point? I assume not.
Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition void. These figures would be wiped out, Detective.
Could there be another point of origin further away?
That's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez?
If you can, do it, brain, goddamn.
You would need a map for that. A map of Martinez.
There was a map in sale from the bookstore, wasn't there? A map of Martinez, we need one.
You're thinking, what if the shot didn't come from the roof?
Yes.
There was a map in the bookstore. We should come back with it. Compare the landscape to the radius of the shot.
That's so cool. I love visual calculus in this. It's my favorite by far. It's the best skill. Because the other ones are good. Like, how to describe it? Dialogue-wise. Like, it pushes the dialogue forward in these really cool ways. But visual calculus, just the way that, just in his own head, he's like, doing these really cool, I don't know, it's just awesome. It's like detective mode in Batman. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, because we're 21 minutes in. So if you like that video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And as always, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. There's a pretty horrible story from Klaasje there. She literally had the man she was in the process of having sex with was murdered in front of her. It's not... Yeah. I am worried that she may be suicidal, potentially, the way she was talking. But my character didn't seem to figure that out. Anyway. Back next time, I suppose. See you guys.